Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Slatton. They call it a crime of opportunity. Robbinsdale police are asking residents to be vigilant after an uptick in vehicle thefts. Reporter Sonia Goins has more.
Shannon, they're calling it a disturbing trend. Robbinsdale police say they haven't seen this many stolen vehicles in a long time.
From the start of the year till now, we've had 25 motor vehicle thefts. So meaning someone's vehicle was stolen, not that their vehicle was rummaged through.
Last year, the city had 41 motor vehicle thefts. Police say the crimes are happening throughout the city, but they're seeing a lot of thefts in the south part of Robbinsdale, near North Memorial Health Hospital. Officials say the stolen vehicles are often used to commit other crimes.
So they'll arrive in a stolen vehicle, they'll steal whoever's vehicle that they choose to steal that day. They'll leave in both vehicles. Normally they will abandon the old stolen vehicle and then continue in the fresh stolen vehicle.
Officer Nicole Saba says there are a number of reasons for an uptick in vehicle thefts. People leaving their cars unlocked or valuables in their vehicles. Residents are also leaving their garage doors open. In Robbinsdale, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Robbinsdale police also say a resident recently had their car keys and wallet stolen at gunpoint. Just last week, there was a carjacking in New Hope. This week, Pineview Lane will be closed in Plymouth while crews work on repairing the railroad crossing there. Canadian Pacific announced the road will be closed through Friday, April 2nd, while crews remove and replace existing rails, railroad ties, and the concrete crossing panels. They will also patch asphalt. The area was damaged after 22 train cars derailed on March 7th. There were no injuries in that accident. News out of the Robbinsdale School District. Interim Superintendent Dr. Stephanie Barrage will be leaving. She accepted a position with the Minnesota Department of Education as the new Deputy Commissioner of Education. She will also oversee the new Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Center. Barrage has served as interim superintendent since July of last year, and she's been with Robbinsdale Schools since 2017. She will finish out the school year with the district and then start her new role at MDE on June 23rd. There are tasks we perform every day that many of us take for granted. But for people in wheelchairs, some routine tasks can be impossible without help. As Delane Cleveland reports, a group of local students received a grant to help make life easier for people with disabilities.
On the Golden Valley campus of Courage Kenny Rehabilitation Institute,
Is that you, Lance?
It is.
you may occasionally run into volunteer Lance Phillip.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Lance has cerebral palsy and needs to use a wheelchair to get from point A to point B.
And I've just learned to adapt to it because I've had it since birth, so.
Yet there are still things in everyday life that can be tricky for Lance and other people in wheelchairs. Take, for instance, elevator buttons. In many buildings, Lance says they're placed about 5 feet off the ground.
And sometimes for those of us that sit down, that could potentially be almost too high to where we can't even reach it to call the elevator.
It's a problem many able-bodied people take for granted. But about 5 miles away,
hearing about it, it really made us want to make a difference in their lives and help them out more.
a group of engineering students from Benilde-St. Margaret's high school have begun working on a solution.
So this is one of the first prototypes we have.
They're developing a robotic elevator button pusher. Thanks to a $10,000 grant from MIT that's awarded to students working to invent technological solutions to real-world problems. The goal is that when this robotic arm is fully developed, it will connect to a motorized wheelchair and help people push those hard-to-reach buttons.
There is other options that these people have, but those will cost like thousands of dollars. So we want to make sure we can make something that's a lot cheaper and that will really affect somebody's life.
Do you want to go?
The students are still working on the design.
It's on like gliding rails, so there's little wheels here that make sure it goes up and down smoothly. And it's all tensioned by this I think it's surgical elastic.
And they still have to test the device on the target audience.
It shows us how hard it is to do these things, and it takes a lot of work to get these things done.
But when it's all said and done, that hard work could have long-lasting impacts for people such as Lance.
Their ability to come up with this idea could benefit not just one person, but many people.
In Golden Valley, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
The Benilde-St. Margaret students hope to have a prototype arm ready to showcase to the public coming up in June. A Wayzata High School student is drawing attention to the dangers of vaping. Ashley Zoe won a statewide contest where she created a video to warn students about vaping.
I don't think my video is gonna stop anyone from vaping, but I think it'll bring up an issue and help facilitate more discussion about the topic, and then that hopefully leads to people stopping vaping.
The Escape the Vape contest drew 110 entries statewide, and it's important information to get out too. One statistic shows e-cigarette use among 8th graders nearly doubled from 2016 to 2019. Organizers felt this contest was important because it gave youth the chance to empower other youth.
The whole premise there is, once again, that they're going to trust their friends more than they trust us. And they're more likely to embrace the words and wisdom of their peers. And that message simply goes so much further.
And as we go to break, we thought we would let you see the message for yourself. Here's Ashley's winning entry.
Ooh, Tina, look at these cool vapes. Should we get some?
Nick, of course not. Did you know that the vaping industry targets teens like us? With colorful packaging and exciting flavors? Look, this is a vape compared to our Sour Patch Kids.
I can't believe the industry is taking advantage of us like that.
That day, Nick left with something, but it wasn't a vape. It was a lesson that vaping isn't as sweet as it sounds.
The Maple Grove boys hockey team earned a spot in the state tournament with a 7-0 win over Centennial last week. In this week's CCX Spotlight story, we feature a senior defenseman from an outstanding group of Crimson seniors.
Henry Nelson is considered one of the best prep hockey players in the state of Minnesota. Here's Henry Nelson, and he scores! But he had an inauspicious start to his hockey career.
I think I was 6 years old in Mite 2s. I remember I went to the rink for the first time, was crying my eyes out, but I was skating around the edge of the boards while everyone was skating circles around me. And I remember my buddy's dad, Jay Faber, was walking me around the edge of the board, so it was fun.
Now, over a decade later, Henry is in his third year on the Maple Grove varsity. A great experience for the high school senior.
It's been awesome. This is my favorite years of hockey so far in the Crimson uniform, and it's been great, and I'll always cherish these 3 years.
Nelson is averaging nearly 2 assists per game, more than pretty good for a defenseman, and it speaks to his vision on the ice.
That's kind of a special attribute to be able to see the ice the way he does. He passes the puck so cleanly. He's kind of almost a little bit one step ahead of the game. Reminds me a little bit of Jordan Gross, who was a pretty phenomenal D that came here. I had some games in the NHL, and he sees the ice that way.
Knowing when to go on the attack is critical too.
I've talked to my assistant coach a lot, Tom Adolph, about that, about picking the right chances to jump up so that you stay on the right side of the puck and don't leave like odd man rush going on our way. So I've worked on that a lot, about choosing the right moments.
That playmaking ability is a big part of Henry's game, but he's really focused on the defensive end of the ice this season.
I think just my physicality in the corners, that I've really worked on that this year.
This year's focus was going to be on the D zone, getting nasty down low.
And win more battles in the corners and find my guy, and then transition my defensive play to going offensive.
Being tough to play against in front of the net, taking sticks away, head on a swivel, doing all those things that you got to do to complete your game as a complete player and play in all 3 zones. And he embraced it.
Both Henry and teammate Kyle Kukkonen are among 10 finalists for the Mr. Hockey Award. Unbelievable goal! A huge honor for a Minnesota high school player.
That's a huge honor to be on that list, the top 10 guys in the state of hockey for seniors. And there's a lot of good guys on that list and throughout the whole state that didn't make it that list. But that's a huge honor to be on that list. But I think I have a lot of teammates over there that is deserving of that award, and that has helped me throughout this whole year.
Next season, Henry will play for the Lincoln Stars in the USHL. From there, it's on to college hockey and Notre Dame, the school he committed to in his sophomore year.
I've been there for a few camps and things, and I fell in love with the coaching staff and the campus. You can't go wrong at Notre Dame. It's a special place, and I'm very excited to play there one day.
The Crimson lost in the state tournament quarterfinals a year ago. players like Henry Nelson and others could have left high school early to play junior hockey or elsewhere. Instead, it was then that 12 players from the junior class all committed to coming back and playing their senior season at Maple Grove.
After that game, we all said that we wanted to come back and finish the job. So to bring a state championship to Maple Grove Crimson Hockey would be huge. And to leave a legacy like that is something very special and something that we all want to do.
Maple Grove faces Andover in the final quarterfinal round game of the day Wednesday at 8 p.m. at XL Energy Center. As the winter season winds down, we have an impressive Play of the Week winner. With 75% of the vote, our CCX Play of the Week winner is this dunk by Maranatha Christian Academy's Jeremiah LaVelle in the first round playoff game against Brooklyn Center. Congratulations, Jeremiah. That's it for sports. I'm John Jacobson.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.